Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm bringing you part 3 to What If Uncle Ben Didn't Die in Spider-Man 1. If you have not seen part 1, make sure to go down in the description below and click the link to see that part, as this one won't make any sense whatsoever. And with that being said, if you do enjoy all types of Spider-Man content from news, theories, gaming, and fanfictions like these, make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the bell next to the subscribe button to not miss any more content as it comes out in the future. And you can be the first ones to watch the videos as soon as they go out. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. What if Uncle Ben didn't die in Spider-Man 1, Part 3. We continue our story with Peter at home. He seems a little happier than he did before. He goes downstairs to Uncle Ben and Aunt May. They are discussing their money problem, but then immediately stop when Peter walks in. Peter says that he knows and they don't need to keep it from him. They say back to him that they don't want to worry him, and Peter says that he might have a way to make some good income for them, and he says that he started working with Norman Osborn at Oscorp Industries, and Aunt May and Uncle Ben say that they are proud of him. Peter apologizes for how he acted, and now that Peter's head is on straight, there is a direction for him and his powers. He still doesn't tell them about his powers, as he's been told to keep it under wraps, but at least everything is looking like it's going in a good direction now. Meanwhile, on the other side of town at the Osborn mansion lies Norman Osborn in his living room. Harry comes in asking if that's his father. Norman wakes up shirtless, as there is a massive gaping hole in the wall. Harry walks in and sees what's happened. Harry is in shock. Norman says that he doesn't know what happened either, that all he remembers is that there was a break-in and a big green monster attacked the mansion. Harry says that makes no sense and that Norman says he agrees. Harry then thinks back to Peter and his powers, and he asks if Peter had anything to do with it, and Norman says no. Peter is a good lad and he'd never do anything like this. Then Harry will show Norman the newspaper and it'll read, "Green Monster destroys military testing site." Norman will be horrified. The ultimate monster goblin had destroyed the military guys who were working with Norman with the glider technology and the super soldier enhancements. Harry says that the military are gonna link this straight back to Oscorp after the whole human super soldier tests, and Norman says that that thing, that beast, is not the creation of Oscorp, but something far worse. Now what's happening here is that Norman and the Goblin, being two separate entities, almost like a Jekyll and Hyde in a way, like we saw in the original film, is playing out here. The Goblin will be the one who created the ultimate goblin, which allows Norman to transform into the big monster. Even though Norman technically and literally speaking is the same person as the Goblin and the monster goblin, Norman mentally distinguishes them as two different people. Therefore he blames the monster goblin attacks on the Goblin side of his personality and not himself. Thus he says that the monster was due to something far worse than Oscorp, obviously referencing the Goblin. Harry asks Norman if he's okay, and Norman says yeah, but they need to move quickly before that monster returns. Harry seems a little bit suspicious though, like he's almost onto Norman. Peter sees this on the news and that a massive goblin-like creature had roamed the streets of New York last night and took out a government testing facility as well, and that Norman also was found in the Osborn mansion potentially hurt with a gaping hole in the wall. Peter says that he's gotta go and he rushes to Oscorp to see if Norman is alright. Peter arrives at Oscorp where Norman is, and he asks if he's okay. Norman says for Peter to leave and this isn't a good time. Peter leaves. And then the next day at school, Peter approaches Harry and asks if he is okay. Harry says that ever since Peter has had those powers, everything is going downhill with Oscorp and his dad. He says he doesn't know what Peter did to him, but he doesn't agree with it because he's going insane. And Peter says, "What do you mean?" And Harry says that he found him shirtless this morning at the Osborn mansion and that everything lines up extremely suspiciously. Harry thinks that Norman is the green monster and that it has something to do with Peter and his powers. He just didn't want to say anything about it. And then it clicks for Peter too. Peter gave Norman his blood. He must have wanted to give himself those powers for whatever reason they don't know just yet, but he did. And then he transformed into a massive green monster. Peter apologizes to Harry and says that he's gonna stop working with his dad. Harry says that he has to fix this. Peter says how, and Harry says just use your powers. Peter feels a sudden rush of adrenaline. He's never used them before apart from wrestling. He's never fought a massive green monster. Back with Norman, and the military people come to visit. They say that they're not continuing their relationship with Oscorp and that they're cutting all funding. Norman asks why, and they said that because of what happened with the Green Monster, they believe it to be attached to Oscorp. And a couple of hours later, Norman gets a call to the board meeting where he's also kicked off of Oscorp. They said that they have endured too many failures and can't stand another without the downfall of the company, and they believe that it's Norman and his obsession with the super soldier serum and the glider that is bringing them down, and especially after his name has been tarnished all over the media after the whole Green Monster incident, and it's been continuously being tied back to Oscorp as well. Norman says that they will all regret doing what they just did, as the Goblin side of him kicks in and he pulls out a syringe. The Goblin tells Norman to stab himself with it. Norman says, "No, not here." and more of the Park serum is injected into him. Norman transforms into the goblin monster and wreaks havoc. He kills all the board members inside the office and jumps out of the window. Peter hears about this and goes to the office himself using his powers. He sees multiple dead bodies on the floor. This makes Peter feel sick, and it was because of the goblin. He gave him his blood, and this is what it had come to. Now this is where Peter's character starts to change into the one we all know and love. The responsibility aspect won't be as strong and as sudden, but it still will be here, but will be more gradual and will start here. Peter will feel responsible for all the dead people at the hands of the ultimate goblin. Then someone will see him and shout, "Hey, stop there!" and Peter will jump away. Peter realizes that if he's to do anything about it, he'll have to conceal his identity. He goes home and he pulls out the wrestling costume. Meanwhile, with the goblin, he will be at Oscorp and he'll transform back to his human form. He will pull out the syringe and realize it only has a tiny little bit left of the serum, and he needs to produce more. But to do that, he needs more of the Parker blood. Everything has been taken away from Norman now. His son doesn't trust him, the board are dead, Oscorp doesn't have his back, his military contract is broken, all he has left is Peter Parker and his powers. He's the one who can save Norman and his career. So that's been it for this part. If you did all enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. And yep, it's all kicking off now. Next part, it's all going to be the massive big fight finale end to this series. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button like I did say, subscribe if you are new. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button to not miss any more content. And with that being said, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.